If you've ever felt disrespected, someone makes a comment towards you and your weight, and they talk about, that, or maybe that they don't even say anything, but you can just tell that they're judging you just based off of your appearance. That shit should fuel you. That should piss you off. And that's not a bad thing. Yes, it's good to have a good, attitude, but when someone's directly, making a comment, or they're being like, how do you say, they're being where you're like passive aggressive, where you can tell they're meaning things, in a rude or spiteful, disrespectful way, but they're trying to play it off like they're not, right? We all have, those situations, and I know a lot of people have dealt with that with weight loss. I've talked to a lot of people, and they have to deal with shit from their stepdad making comments saying, oh, you're never going to lose the weight, you're fat just like me, and that's the thing, is some people that are unhappy and they're overweight, themselves, will think that it's okay to call you out and to, make fun of you for your weight, or say that you're not gonna be able to lose the weight because you're like them. Don't ever try and fall into their, trap of, oh yeah, you're just like them. That's just them being ungrateful, unhappy, and just, trying to tear other people down. And it's just like, you need to use that fuel towards your goals. Like, if you have someone being disrespectful to you, talking about, all these things, it's like, you don't have to say anything to them. What are you going to say to them that's going to really do anything besides maybe confronting them in a non-crazy way? Because if you get in a fight or you just argue, what's the point? Nothing good is going to come from that. But, maybe you can confront them in a nice way if you're calm enough. But if not, who cares? Just don't even talk to them. And then it's just like, you know what? I'm going to show them exactly why they're just so ignorant. It's crazy. I know a lot of people that they get disrespected just off of their appearance. Like, they get judged like as if their entire life is lazy just because they're overweight, when you don't know what that person's gone through. Like, on a serious note, you don't know if they've had deaths in their family. You don't know if they've gone through a divorce. You don't know if they used to be in shape for majority of their life and they let themselves go, and now you're thinking you can just hate on them and put them down and put them in the even worse position. A lot of people have no idea what people have been through. And so the fact that you're going to judge someone's entire life and appearance and everything, their entire life and everything that they do, just based off their appearance, or just based off that current moment, how much they weigh or whatever it is, what they look like, then you're just a shallow individual. And, just know that they don't need to know the real person. Like, at the end of the day, no one cares. They all got their own life going on. And so if they're saying stuff to hate, they're just hating, right? But it's like, you need to choose to do something about your current situation. And it should literally give you that fire that pisses you off. And it's very, very good thing to have. You don't have to write down names or be weird or crazy about it, but keep that in your mind. When people say these little comments to you, replay that when you're working out. Replay that when you're trying to track calories, or you're trying to diet better and you're trying to lose weight and better yourself. Play those things in your head and tell yourself, okay, this is what's going to get me to the next day and then the next day, because that's what should fuel you. I know some people say it's not good to do it that way, but it is in the beginning. Later on, when you've lost weight and you're doing good, you don't want to just feed off aggression and be pissed off your whole life. And I'm not saying to be pissed off in general, but you should use it as motivation. Even if you have a good day, just in the back of my mind, you're like, okay, all right, this guy wanted to say this and that about me. He wanted to judge me about my appearance. I'm going to show all these guys that, or a girl, whoever it is that disrespected you, or maybe it was multiple people, and it's like, you don't even have to do it for them, but it's just going to be so much more satisfaction when you really do achieve the things that you said you're going to do or that you wanted to do. And then they're going to be in the same spot, A lot of people talk about all this stuff, but then when it comes down to it, years pass on and nothing has changed. And so you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the guy that let these other people's, comments get to you, and now years have passed and you're off to an even worse spot because that's what they want. And so I hope this video puts a fire in you and makes you pissed off and want to actually do something, because it doesn't have to be recent. It could be someone from high school and you're 40 years old, but the fact that these people disrespected you and then you kind of believe it to be true, and so it really resonates and it hurts. That's the thing that's real, when someone says something that actually digs deep because you believe it to be true. And so use it. Everyone's had gone through adversity, so bring those up. Don't let them, don't just push those away and say everything's okay. Bring it back up. It hurts, and that's a good thing. It's pain, and pain is good in a way because it helps you grow. And so take action. I promise you, you guys can all do this. Anybody can lose weight. I'm literally working with a client who's dealing with diabetes, thyroid. You know, he's having to deal with all these things. He was on Ozempic because of his diabetes. You know, he's working 60 all the way to 85 hours in the summer. He's working 3 jobs, and he's already over, you know, he's already 35 years old. You know, I have other clients that are 46 that are busting their ass, you know, every day working hard, and they got things that they're going with. They got kids, they got things they have to do, and they're still getting results. So there's absolutely no excuse as to why you can't too.